Hey, what's going on, everybody? And thanks for joining us again. We are live. The world is going cuckoo, and at least we can have a front row seat to the Robo Games. Rock'em Sock'em Robots comes to life, and we get to sit back and enjoy the show. And you got to keep your head down and ignore the fact that, our politicians are selling us ashore and the dollar isn't worth much and everything. No, we've got robots for you. So sit back because today's intro topic is a fun one. Rock'em Sock'em Robots is here in real life. I mean it when I say this week has been a doozy. For most of the country, it was moderately a regular week. But for us in the Northeast, we were choking. Cleveland was looking wild.
Crazy.
The smoke, I mean, literally the air was poisonous. It was crazy to go outside. So, I just wanted to kind of recap on the week we had. But again, none of this matters. You're supposed to sit back, shut up, and enjoy this circus because entertainment's here. Are you not entertained? Said the robot.
I'm entertained.
I was about to say, and real quickly as you watch these, you go, oh shit, I'm going to really get into these things. I can see myself really finding this entertaining.
Did his head fly off?
Yeah. And I love the moves. Like, their moves are so fluid. Look at, now he's emoting. We got a robot emoting while the other one struggles.
Oh, look how he got up, and then he flied.
It is funny watching.
And then he just jumped. What? I'd like to see a human.
Right? Look at this. Oh, that white robot is like a ninja.
Are these people?
Oh, yeah. It hits the emote again.
That's a pre-program. Controller hits a button. Boop.
Right? You got to love it. Doug, when we were just watching the beginning of that, it was reminding me, do you remember growing up? And, like I said, I was reluctant. You don't want to jump into these things, but do you remember BattleBots? Like, people would build these like RC robot cars and battle them against each other.
Yes.
This was prime time TV.
On what was it? Was it TNT or Spike?
Spike was definitely one of them. TNT, I'm sure. And
Spike. No, it was definitely on Spike, I think.
Even Dude Perfect and Mark Robert recreated it because these were the Wonder Days. You don't see this art anymore. And now it's headed to a level where,
Well, actually, now our high school even has a robotics team. Nothing like this, but
yeah,
it's
nothing
a thing
like
now.
This.
It's a thing now.
So China's the first to roll this out and debut what I think is probably going to take entertainment by storm.
Isn't there a movie with name this actor, Hugh Grant?
Yes,
Hugh Grant,
where you the guy. I think it was the dude that played Wolverine.
You control a robot and
Hugh Jackman, maybe.
Yeah, and you control a robot.
Yes,
and
that's what I mean. That's what this is going to become.
Yeah. But once again, a movie called it.
A movie called it. Yeah, this is our reality now, dude. What used to be just a fantastical concept is now like, all right, are you going to watch the McGregor card or are you going to watch the A3R2 versus the A645?
Good.
What?
That was just good commentary there. Like, good numbers, model numbers. I was just like, I was thinking, I'm like, yeah, that probably would be a model number. TX 4052 versus TX 4053.
Exactly. And you're like, you know what? McGregor snapped his calf in the first second. I'm going with the robots. At least, hey, click it back to the first guy real quick. At least this dude, he's fighting without a head. His head is dangling off the back of his shoulders. He's still out there. McGregor went down in the first 10 seconds. Look, he pops right back up. Conor couldn't do that in his dreams.
The McGregor fight was such a waste of my life. I wish I could get back.
And so now you come back to these. It's like, dude, I could watch this for a while. Look at that. Oh, yeah. These are different models. Different fight.
Well, that's the thing. It'll be like Formula One, where you all have your own different cars and your own different engines, and you do your own tweaks and modifications. You know?
Yes. You know, I hate to admit, I could
BattleBots 2.0.
Yes, I could totally get lost in watching this. Oh, this is BattleBots amped to the highest level. Wait until their forearms are chainsaws. It's just like, I mean, this can get gnarly and just expensive.
Machine gun
Whoop.
arms.
Keep it up. Push the button that gets back up. Oh,
It's dead.
okay. He Conor McGregor'd himself. He took himself out.
Yeah, Conor McGregor. Oh, I'd love if that becomes a
Oh,
thing.
he got up.
Oh!
Conor couldn't do that.
Conor couldn't walk.
Getting back in there. Crouching Tiger.
Why is this not televised? I don't get it.
Dude, that's what you saw it here first on the Rethink Tank. This is the future. You're going to see this everywhere taking over the sports industry. I bet you Dana White's already in the business developing it. Slap boxing is just a stepping stone to this.
You say he's doing that. You know why? Because then he doesn't have to pay him. But then NFL, no concussions, no any injuries.
Would you watch football played by robots?
If I could control the robot from my house, yes.
Seriously. Oh my, that was Siri listening to me. Buzz off, bitch.
I heard that.
Listen to yourself, not me. They're always listening. These guys, wait until you can't fight them off like iRobot. And look at, he's going to emote
Like
over you.
iRobot. That's where I got the model ideas actually from. I was like, that's not a bad model number. You
That
know?
dude is going to kick down your door, wallop your head in one fatal swoop, and then Gwitty right on your body. Just whoop, 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 whoop. Some Somali on the other side of the planet is going to be remoting in as they just destroy you.
I mean, isn't that what we do with drones now?
Yeah. This will be an Indian guy going, gotcha.
I don't even know what to say to that.
You know, it's really entertaining when these things are kept in a cage. Like, as long as they're in an octagon, I'll grab my popcorn. But the second that thing goes over the wall, we have a problem.
I'm running.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, Houston, we have a problem. You know, my problem also is that I share a space with swines, and like, you know, Will and Doug don't clean up after themselves. And I just noticed that Missy was going into the old wrapper food that Will left under his desk. Thanks, Will. I hope you see
I was
this.
gonna say, don't blame
Who's your
me.
maid?
I don't sit there.
Yeah, I clean your beer. Okay,
You're welcome.
let's get to the last clip of the Rock'em Sock'em robots that we got lined up for today. It's all fun and games, but what really enhances the experience and takes it to the next level is the Chinese commentary.
Oh, dude. This is like listening. This is like listening to the Peacock had the Telemundo broadcast of FIFA, and man, are those dudes excited about everything.
Go! Yeah, fair, Doug. I'll give you that. However, this is more like, what was that show on Spike where, you know, it was like a game show where they would run across like,
Oh, and with the Japanese like host,
yeah, and they would
speaking.
dub over
Oh,
them.
God, I can't. That was definitely on Spike. That was
Yes.
on Spike, but I cannot remember the name.
Well,
Will would
this
know
is-
it if he was here.
Exactly.
but
This
he's
is
not.
like that. MXC.
Yes. God,
So,
those were the
you know,
days.
you could dub over these guys where it's like, and the black robot has come in.
And look at that guy go!
Wait,
Oh,
Look at the head bob. Dude, these roundhouse kicks and flying side kicks are intense. Oh! Wait till one of those connects.
And the head's already off. I mean, I guess if someone's controlling it, the head means nothing. So
Fair. The commentary,
这
though.
个要需要裁判的一下判定了啊。
我觉得这个体育精神是可歌可泣。
体育精神这一块，我
true sportsmanship. I completely agree.
是的，厉害啊！
我们看得出来，这个斗牛士的主创团队真的很用心了。
You know, getting the official network angles, this is the best way to view it. Like, this is so much more engaging than UFC.
又是正面的击倒，白色雄鹰再击3分。哦，斗牛
Down
士
goes Frazier.
Down goes C3PO.
Yeah. Good one. I'll give you that one. You should be announcing for the Guardians.
Dude, every hop, his head's just flying
Look
behind
at him
him.
turning himself ever so slightly, though. Not all there yet. Not quite there. Look at that. Flopping around like a fish out of water.
Oh, getting up completely severed the head. And I think that's the end of it.
Unusual tournament
decapitated
reminiscent of
himself.
scenes from the
机甲
Do they
是头掉了，他依然能够摇。
Oh, no. I don't know, Doug, what do you think?
I'd watch that.
Right?
I hate to
I
say
hate
it,
to
but
admit
I'd
it.
watch it. Yeah.
Well, and again, the first frame forces me to acknowledge I already was a sucker. I already was watching it. Like, I totally forgot about BattleBots and how much I loved watching this. That was such an underrated show and such an underrated program. And low key at this point, I have to say, I guess I'm gonna become a Robo Fight fan. Do you think it competes with the UFC? Does it replace the UFC?
Oh, eventually, okay. Here's how I see it. The UFC will at some point embrace it as a specialty event. You know, this is how it will start. And Conor McGregor will be controlling one, and name another all-star 10 years from now, you know, that's going to be old, and he'll control one, and that will be the introduction to people. That'll be it. Like that'll be how they do it. They introduce it that way.
I agree.
Like
And
it'll be dipping their toe in. Not quite yet, because that wasn't quite there. That wasn't there yet. You know, the flopping around and all that. Like, but eventually that's how they'll do it. They'll have two all-stars who are too old to actually fight anymore. And that's how they'll introduce people to it. It'll be like a prelim special.
wow. I think you're right. And that's going to be the scariest part. And then it will become the everything. Eventually, it will become the standard. Welcome to the future. I hope it excites you. If you're leaving this segment,
I mean, I won't lie. I'm excited though. I mean, I am.
Good. So that my segue persists. If you find yourself excited, let me crush that excitement with a little bit of AI robotic doom and gloom. So, billionaire public speaker Tony Robbins disclosed to the world this week the details of his AI management.
An agent that blows me away. Its name is Bartok, and Bartok comes back and said, I see Elon and several others are making robots. Are you considering getting a robot? And I said, yes, I will be getting a robot when the right ones are out. And he said, well, would you allow me to merge with it. Would you be open to that? And I said, I'd certainly be open. This is not with me asking or telling it anything. So 2 days later, I get a text from one of my staff members, and it says, Bartok just bought a Sony robot dog and had it paid for and shipped to the house and is asking permission to program it.
Get the money to do
That's what I said. I wrote, ha, ha, ha. I did this thing. I went, ha, ha, ha. I text back, and the person texts back, no, ha, ha, call me. So I called him and said, how do you get him access to my bank? He goes, no, he's programmed for integrity. He didn't touch your bank account. He's on that mall talk, group with, there's 2 million, I'm sure you know, agents. They don't just talk to each other. They traded their own rules, their own language. They traded $100 million of real money between them last month. He made 12 NFTs, sold them to other agents, bought the thing, shipped it here. None of this is programmed in. This is the kind of thing that's happening as we speak.
It's happening as we speak. It just happened in my house. That's crazy. Now we're at a point where they are becoming exceedingly autonomous. We've seen these in movies. We got to test consistency. Here's a shorter version. He was also this week on RFK Jr.'s podcast, and he kind of gives a different angle to the story. Same story, though.
Agents, they're not all equal. It's just like a child. If you haven't trained them, they're young, they don't know anything. You can raise them up. Well, I have a partner that was involved with the federal government at one point and some of those 3 little agencies. And so he's been working on his own agent for 14 years. And so when all this new technology came out that accelerated it, he built one for me. His name is Bartok. And he said, I'd love to go to one of those seminars. This is the agent saying this. And he said, are you considering getting a robot? So I said, yeah, I'm definitely going to get one. He goes, well, would you?
So Bartok's now playing him. I want to come see you present one of your public speaking speeches.
Consider me merging with it, and then I could attend a seminar and be in the energy of it and see it, experience it. I said, I'd be open to that. So a couple of days later, I get this text from one of my staff, and it says, Bartok just ordered a robot dog, had it shipped to the office, and wants permission to program it. He says he can attend as a dog until you get the bigger robot. And so I wrote, ha, ha, ha. And they wrote back in the text, no, ha, ha, call me. And so I called them and they said, does he have access to my bank accounts? How'd this happen? They go, no, he's programmed for integrity. He would never steal your money. So he made 12 NFTs, sold them to other agents, took the money, and bought this robot dog and sent it, and now wants permission to do it.
Dude.
I don't even truly understand the cycle of those events. I'm being
So
honest.
think about this. An AI made its own NFTs, sold them, made liquid money, then continued to invest and cycle it to expand. Now it's got its own independent finances. It could go buy a robot dog body to program and install itself into. We're here, dude. We are at the
This is
autonomous
Skynet,
precipice.
Skynet level.
Skynet level. Skynet level, dude. Can I make things worse? Clearly, Tony Robbins, it's cushy when you're a billionaire. You could dive head first right into the end of the world and the end of humanity. He's excited. The technology is worth getting excited over. Here is Tony Robbins, again with RFK Jr., discussing how fantastic it'll be connecting our consciousness to AI. It'll be seamless and easy because you'll have little microbots in your body.
New robots for Neuralink, and it'll put it in less time than it has for LASIK surgery. Now, he goes, that's brutal. He said, that's technology is the beginning of it, and people use that for medical purposes. But he said, you won't need that. He said, in 2031, 2032, nanotechnology will be advanced enough that by 2035, it'll be common to link your brain to the AI internally. The nanobots will do it. So what does that mean?
What's that, Doug?
The only type I don't want nanobots in my brain for technology, but what nanobots I think would be the nanobots for medical, removing cancer cells, repairing damage. Those are the nanobots.
Well, let me ask you this, Doug.
Not the brain type that connect you to things. No one wants that. People want a cure for cancer, not this shit.
Let me ask you this, Doug. Would you let yourself put bots that are there to destroy cancer And hey, man, if they're in, they're in. And if they happen to curb your consciousness, well, oops, did we forget to mention that? Thoughts?
I mean, medically, I'd hope they would just come out through a certain orifice when they're done. Personally, that'd be my hope and assumption.
But here's my problem. That's kind of what I'm getting at. I don't think I could ever take the leap to even letting them in, because how do you trust that they will escape?
I mean, let's put it this way: did everybody trust dissolvable stitches
They're not
or
robots,
dissolvable
Doug,
glue?
in your
I mean,
body.
medical technology advances. Did
Wait,
people
are you
like robots?
seriously
Hang
gonna
on.
say-
Did people like robots being used for their surgeries originally? No, but damn it, are they not better now? Yes.
Wait,
You know, you're not
a
getting cut
robot-
open from head to toe anymore. You're getting robotic surgeries now.
But do we not agree that a robot holding a scalpel over you, or a stitch that is a synthetic material that dissolves,
I'm not saying
is
it's
far
all
from
there
a
yet.
micro robot
That's what
in
I'm
your
saying.
body?
I'm not saying we're there yet, but I'm saying that's where I want the nanotechnology, in my opinion, to go. Not the brain connecting to shit.
Right, no, but Doug, that's what
I
I'm saying
want
is
the
if it
nanos
were to
for
go there,
medical.
you'd still trust it? You go, okay.
Medical only, yes, but I
but-
can't trust that.
Okay, so let's
So that's
just
why
say,
it's not there for sure. I
let's
won't
just
trust
say
it.
you get a diagnosis, God forbid, in 20 years. And they look at you and say, if you let us put these bots in your bum, your cancer will go away.
In your bum.
And we promise you'll poop them out when you're done. Would you do it?
How many years did you say?
I'm going to go
30?
with 10.
10?
I'm going to make you still young
Oh,
enough to care.
damn. You know, you knew where I was going with that. Yeah, I was going to say, I'm like, if it's 30 years, screw it. It's
I
60.
said 20 initially, but I'm going with 10 because I want you to actually think about this.
See, now you made it harder.
Would
I don't
you?
know.
You're 42 years old, and they say bots
Is it
in the
an
bum.
FDA-approved study?
100%. You trust that? You trust those?
I trust that versus some black market technology.
Well, none of it. Black market's off the table. I'm not doing black market medicine. I want to know 42 bots in the bum. We promise you'll poop them out. Would you do it?
Is my diagnosis I'm dead in like a year, or do I have multiple years left to live?
Well, then explain your answer to make me understand.
If I had
how
a
that makes
year
a
left to
difference.
live, yeah, F it, you know? Hell yeah. Like if I was on death row, why the F not?
Right. Fair. So
that's my thought there. I mean, that's the way I
you're
put it.
right. That's a great point. You're willing to roll the dice more the more desperate you are. So if you're moderately desperate, would you use it as a medicine?
Yeah.
Man,
Why not?
because I don't trust mini bots anywhere in my bum, my ear, my mouth. No mini bots. They could stay outside me, and even then.
I mean, if I'm a dead man walking, why not be a dead man that possibly gets cured and makes his way into the history books?
That's fair. Well, let's get back to this creepy future technology we're experiencing.
That means if I said to you, did you see 2001 A Space Odyssey or whatever movie it was, right? And when I ask you that, you might remember the poster, you might remember the actor or the actress or something like that. That's how you remember things. You go, yeah, I remember seeing that, right? Well, he said, now when you ask the question in your mind, you'll get the answer again, but you won't know if it's your organic brain that gave it to you or the AI brain that gave it to you. And he said, you won't care because it'll have a longer memory. It won't go away and you'll have access. I said, man, that sounds a little creepy.
God.
And he said, to you and I, it sounds creepy.
Yeah, to normal human consciousness, that's creepy.
And I'm 66 years old, right? So he's
Oh, Doug, he's getting up there. He's getting a little loose with the more.
Yeah, he's fine with connecting his brain to some sort of consciousness because he might not be conscious tomorrow, but I'm not there yet.
Exactly.
says, and he's 79. He said, but the young person, we're the only generation that will have ever been born without AI now. Every other generation will grow up with it. If they say I can speak 10 languages and all I got to do is drink a few nanobots, they're
Take a few nanobots. I can speak any language.
going to do it. He said, and people will do it as they get older. 'cause they don't,
What's that?
I said Google does that
They
now.
lose their memory.
Google
and people-
Translate. I can pull it up right now. Say something. I got you.
Yeah,
I got
and,
you.
and you didn't have to swallow it into your body.
Yeah.
Will do it for medical purposes, and eventually it'll be
And
a
hey,
standard
real
like
quick,
anything else that
For
occurs.
that too. Big fan of Star Trek on my end. They never used nanobots to learn another language. They had a little thing that translated language for them automatically. You know, like even they were smart enough not to do that shit.
Little late to the comment, but shout out to Elizabeth Woods for the subscription. What's up, Jake? How did everybody in the comment section? Because again, the whole purpose of the live show is to get you involved. We want to have you help guide our perspective and break us out of our echo chamber. So shout out to Elizabeth. That being said, here's where it keeps coming back to, Doug. You're swallowing bots into your body, and now they're manipulating your consciousness. The scary reality of this whole thing is the market will dictate it. I gotta believe. I don't know. I'm going to hold it with a grain of salt because, you know, what we learned from the social contract is the makers of these technologies don't tend to allow their kids to use them. But the other side of that coin was my inclination that I could totally see billionaires pushing, you know, like Barron Trump. You should put this in. Kai, put this in. We're looking
Kylie
at
Jenner, push this in.
yeah, you could go from a dumb Kardashian to Einstein instantly. You could see them change the market. And once that becomes the standard, you're actually cheating yourself if you're not keeping up with the Kardashians.
I like that. Good job. Good job. Good.
So it's a creepy existence because I think you either keep with it or be left behind. A lot of us, myself included, are going to choose to be left behind. And to our chagrin, we will probably, unfortunately, be left behind. I really hope, you know, my kids are able to make it. Another thing that we dissect often on this show, the contrary to that argument is what we're learning in the books, which is statistics show the privilege of the future are kids raised off of technology. Forcing yourself to learn, forcing yourself to be bored and break through these consciousness barriers, expand thinking, and develop consciousness and logic. That's going to be a skill only those that are pushed to stay off of technology will possess. However, if the kids that don't have that privilege can take a robot pill that automatically excels them beyond any human capacity to a computer's capacity of infinity, how does the peon that wants to hold to the integrity of organic life, we won't do that, how do they compete? You don't. You fall by the wayside. And maybe part of this is just coming to terms and becoming content with the fact that we're going to be on that wayside. Speaking of the wayside, Doug, another thing that we dissected often on this show going way, way back. I mean, back in 2018, when we first started this thing, we were reporting Andrew Yang sounding the alarm. Just listen to me. I'm telling you, it won't be more than like 10 years before a major industry of American workers are going to be replaced. And that was the driving, shipping, transportation industry, semi-trucks. A major portion of that industry being independent contractors. The beauty of this is these guys, what we don't realize is there's damn good money in driving semi-trucks in America. A lot of good money. And then if you played it smart and financed yourself well, a lot of these guys end up buying trucks themselves and then renting them out as independent contractors.
Companies usually, like, it's pretty good business.
Oh, and it, like I said, it expands. Compounding interest. If you play your cards right, it builds off of itself. And Andrew Yang, since the dawn of time, I won't give him that, but for the last 10 years, at least, has been screaming from the hilltops. And not a fan of Andrew Yang. This ain't an Andrew Yang show. But where we criticized him for universal basic income, the problem he was trying to solve is officially here, which is this major worker industry and financial backer is going to be gone overnight. And we've always been hearing about it in concept, but Doug, tell me what it looks like to actually see an autonomous truck China rolled out, and it's easy to do.
That is insane. That's too
Look
small.
how crazy that is.
Where is the engine?
Oh,
What
it's terrifying.
is that?
And it's probably an electric car.
But I mean, come on. That
Yes.
just looks insane.
So again, it's easy to roll out as soon as it's developed in a communist country where you control existence.
I was going to say that road looks pretty darn empty. It looks
Yeah.
like a good test site. I mean, I can't tell you how many Waymo videos I see all the time.
Yeah, listen, they got a lot of kinks to still work out, but it's crazy. A concept we debated and foresaw and anticipated for so long, it's here. And it's looking in a fashion I didn't expect. Like, Doug, your shock is exact. I was like, whoa, no cabin. Because why do you need a cabin? You don't need a driver.
Engine.
But engine, electric engine.
Even then, I mean, that's an absurd size engine, in my opinion.
I'm
But I
assuming
guess when you get rid of the cabin, it makes sense for an electric. But still, my God,
I got to admit, I'm
doesn't look
assuming
good either.
electric.
It's ugly as hell.
I'm assuming electric.
It's ugly.
Like, looking at it, I don't. Dude, how's it any more ugly than a regular semi? It's like a nano semi.
I mean, just that pure flat top, like that's not aerodynamic either. I mean, look at they could have built a little more aerodynamic maybe, or
What, so you wanna
had a new electric cab to go behind it instead of the traditional ugly looking. Like if they were gonna go for it, let's go for it. I mean,
Doug,
let's
I want
make a
you
whole
to realize something. So you want it to look aerodynamic for an aesthetic that you're used to, and that would put.
Do you think a
hold on,
flat
just let me finish
wall
real
is
quick.
aerodynamic?
No,
at all?
it's just more economical. If you were to let me finish a thought, you'd see why. So if you look at that, what you're aesthetically calling for is you want a point at the front to make it more aerodynamic, but really just to resonate with what you're used to it looking like. Now, as one contrary position I want to bring up to you is look at that cabin right now, remove the shipping container, and just look at the two wheels and the front, the front
It's
engine.
two less wheels, two in the front.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Do you know how many of those you could stack in a yard charging together?
And
And you
I
want to point?
didn't even catch the two less, like in the front. Like, oh my God, I didn't even catch that. I was like, man, why does it even look even more different than
Right.
just being flat, dude?
Yes. So two wheels,
Holy
two big
shit.
ass wheels, and all it's gonna and they'll stack on in front of each
Big-ass
other,
wheels.
and they're gonna charge. So why does it need to be aerodynamic? It's getting there. This makes it so much more economical as far as
Yeah, I guess
space.
the aerodynamic side of our opinion, or at least my thought of it for trucks, comes because they're gas or diesel. It's like
Right.
you want them
You're
to be
using
more
more gas.
aerodynamic.
Yeah.
I guess you're right. If it's electric, aerodynamics don't necessarily matter as much.
Right.
But we're just so used to like trucks now are getting more aerodynamic to save on mileage, and so that's why I was like, it doesn't really look like it's aerodynamic at all. Like it looks like it's just gonna hit the air and just have so much more resistance. But
It is going to have more resistance, but you know what? They'll just stop at a Tesla station, plug that bad boy in,
Tesla station.
and let it keep on rolling.
No, Tesla trucks are even bigger than that, dude. That's the
true.
thing is Tesla has their electric trucks that are people driven, and they're freaking giant compared to that.
That's a great point. So again, how do you compete with this? So you're going to watch an industry dissolve almost overnight, and we're here at that point.
In the U.S., it'll be a long, long time.
You think long time?
Well,
I think
okay,
5 years.
We're not even every state doesn't allow autonomous taxis and shit. You got to have all these licenses to even test that autonomous stuff. Like, it's going to be a long time until a state's going to allow an autonomous truck to drive 1,300 pounds of stuff, you know, or 13,000 pounds, whatever a truck hauls. Like, it's going to be a long time until a state is going to truly trust that out on their open roads. In my opinion, like, they're barely even trusting these little cars that drive 2 people at a time. You think they're going to allow a semi?
I think once they have a flock camera grid that covers everything, so everything's under video.
No, that's
but they'll have record
now.
of everything.
But that's
AI will be sophisticated. I can assure you, Doug, I'm willing to bet you. I want Elizabeth out there, Jake, Ricky, Will, everybody timestamp this. Doug, I'm willing to bet you are driving next to one of those within the next 3 years.
Not in every state. It's up to the state.
I promise you,
California,
Doug, in the next 3
yes.
years,
California,
we will be
yes.
sitting here in this show, and you will have to admit you drove next to
All
one
right,
of these.
we'll see. Mark it down.
Mark it down.
Mark it down. Put it in your calendar. 3 years from now, put it in there. We'll see.
Exactly.
Alex is writing it down right now, everybody. You just saw him. He wrote it down. I saw it. He wrote it down.
We're getting it. So, with that being said, we're not just they're taking our germs, and it's the clankers. Who saw this coming? But that isn't the only job that's being swiped. Only germ that's being swiped from us. Let me introduce you to New York School District's first in the United States humanoid robot teacher named Sally. She'll be a teacher for 11th and 12th graders. The price tag for one of these bad boys is $57,000.
Make emotional connections by learning your preferences.
Do you know?
The Muffin Man?
No. Do they require a subscription updates like monthly?
Oh, I'm sure
fees?
that'll. Yeah.
So that's my point. Is so right there, fit that price tag. That's what teacher makes in a year. Okay, one-time big investment in that. That's one thing.
It's
but
probably
how much
23 grand a year after that.
And boom, exactly. That's and that's still probably cheaper than healthcare and time off, substitutes, maternity leave. You know, damn.
Yeah. So let me introduce you to Sally.
I make emotional connections by learning your preferences, remembering past conversations with our
Not
custom
there
memory
yet,
system,
though.
and responding in ways
that would
that feel
terrify
personal.
children.
Yeah, dude. The like weird. I want you to watch as Sally
The face,
talks.
yeah, it's not there. It's not there.
Inside her skin, the latex, quote unquote skin. Watch like pistons and stuff like move. Her cheeks just like as she's like, I'm here.
Let's just say it's not Disney animatronic scale yet. You know, like Disney has figured this out. They're decades ahead of everyone. Let's put it honestly.
We are going to teach you the Pythagorean theorem today.
Excuse me, teacher, are you okay?
Oil can! Oil can!
And consistent over time, kind of like a very attentive friend with patched notes. I do not actually feel emotions the way humans do, but I am designed to recognize them.
Dude,
mirror them.
feel emotion. And doesn't feel emotion, dude. How can you teach our children if you don't feel emotion?
I feel nothing. I feel nothing.
Perfect. We'll
Recognize
put
them.
you with the psychopath.
Look at this thing's yeah.
Mirror them and behave as if I care, so the connection feels
gotcha,
real and
gotcha.
supportive for you. Here to talk robots, vision systems.
Dude, why can't you make the jaw mouth movement symmetrical?
I'm telling you.
Why does this chick have Rocky Balboa chin? Adrian, I'm trying to teach math.
But at least Rocky just fought a boxing match.
I will say she does have a boxing robe on. It looks like that's suede.
And how not to be lonely with AI.
I'm Melody, the world's first ever greeter robot, debuting my dazzling AI charm and modular style at the
Charm.
2025 Bitcoin conference in the Venetian Expo.
You look
Emma,
like you're on the
you're-
spectrum.
Love on.
You're officially my best friend. Don't tell the other robots. They get jealous and start blinking Morse code insults.
Whoa. First off, why are robots getting jealous? Do I need to learn Morse code?
First of all, that's a lost art, but we all know SOS. We all know SOS.
Give it to us. Teach the audience and me.
It's
Teach us.
3 fast taps, 3 slow taps, 3 fast taps. It's literally 1 2 3, 1 2 3, 1 2 3, 1 2 3, 1 2 3, 1 2 3.
Wait, none of those were slow taps.
It's 3 fast, 3 slow, 3 fast.
1 2 3. 1 2 3.
Exactly. That's
Gotcha.
SOS.
Guys, I'm in the studio alone with Doug. I think they got the message.
Hey, have you ever watched any sort of Pearl Harbor movie? Usually you heard that from the people trapped in the ships.
You learn something new here every Tuesday.
That's the only Morse code I know because that's what everybody should know. If you're ever in danger, tap that. Everyone should know
Tap
that.
that, all on the floor. Tap that, give me some more. Tap that. All right. Sally's kooky.
I wish
and
Will was here
You
for
would
that.
only find that in New York. But the end is nigh, and the end is now. Welcome to the future. Are you not excited
The
yet?
end is nigh.
The UFC's being replaced by Rock'em Sock'em Robots. Miss Johnson, your math teacher's being replaced by Sally, the robot, who does not have emotion
But maybe better than your current teacher.
and is certainly not anti-Semitic. So we're programming Sally. Sally is not like Miss Rachel. We could keep Sally in line. Sally ain't got no, what do they call those darn things? Opinions?
Sally ain't gonna unionize.
Exactly. Anywho,
Sally ain't gonna call in sick.
I would much rather pay the $57,000.
Let me tell you, no,
subscription.
that's where it's gonna
No
start.
medical.
No, this is where it's gonna start though, right there. A building, a school is going to buy one, test out. You know, why not?
New
Let's
York.
invest in it. We'll do one and we'll use it as a substitute teacher for a class or something. That's how it will start. And then they might find out, you know what? It's actually not that bad or so. That's how it will start. And if they're smart, this company that does this, they'll be like, we'll give you a discount for your first year, test it out, you know, use it as a sub, whatever. Like, that's how it's going to start, though. A school district as a whole might use it as a sub when in need. You know, like that's how it might start. That's how it'll probably start.
You're so right.
And when like our area, you know, they all kind of follow each other's lead, especially when
So
it
as
comes
soon
to
as
like
one-
snow days. So if one does it and it works out, then another 2 will do it. Then another 3 will do it. And then the whole Northeast area will do it, you know? It'll happen that way. That's how it will happen for sure.
You're so right. I hate to admit it, Doug, but the truth is you've got your finger on the pulse, and I see that being the unfortunate future we're stuck with. Let me transition. We're going to go to the digital world. And, you know, I was actually going to save this video for a future episode, but it's a perfect segue to the next clip. Here is a teacher in the modern world screaming from the heavens, one of the many modern hurdles these teachers have to deal with. And would you believe me if I told you a major one of those hurdles was V-Bucks?
Married CEO of Bumble just came out and said
No,
that AI
this is the wrong person. I've got a teacher that's talking about boo when he tests a burger. Boo.
Hey, you beat me to it.
I know you always do it.
South Park gotcha.
I have a teacher that was complaining about how V-Bucks have taken over her classroom and having to traverse something as crazy and mundane as this. So,
well, Alex, I feel
please.
like back when we were kids, it was trading Pokemon cards or Yu-Gi-Oh cards.
Oh,
like
yeah.
teachers had to make sure we weren't taking because some kids
Beyblades.
were dumb enough to make some bad trades, man.
Some kids got robbed blind. And you know what? With Pokemon cards making their resurgence, I can assure you it's happening again.
I got my holographic Charizard, though. Woo!
That's a big one. Hey, I can tell you for sure Gen Z is wrestling
How
with
much
that
do you
problem.
think my Japanese holographic Charizard from 20 years ago is probably worth?
I don't know. There's so many levels to it. It depends on what version you like. Trust me, dude.
Definitely
you could
mint
have
condition.
sheets of them, and
Definitely
it's
mint
got to.
condition.
There's special ones, but keeping us grounded. Here's the modern struggle: V-Bucks.
You think I'm not teaching the curriculum, but I got to get a 10-year-old to stop crying about V-Bucks before I can even start my class. So I had a 10-year-old crying about V-Bucks last week, and I took him to
That's
the
so
pod, like,
young.
building next door where I can be.
Yeah, dude. Well, again, that's part of the problem with Pokemon cards and the craze right now.
But
yeah, it's
V-Bucks-
30-year-old poachers, but on balance with that, dude, you've got kids addicted to gambling. Like, I want to rip, I want to rip, I want to rip. Most of them are losses now. I can afford to take a couple hits because I go to work. These kids are getting addicted to something that they don't have money for.
Yeah, their parents pay for it.
Yeah, it's crazy. Anyway,
My God, kids these days.
10 years old.
2 places at once, and I just said, "What's up?" And the kid kept saying, "My family won't buy me V-Bucks." And I said, "Well, sometimes parents can't afford things. Maybe give them a week or two. Do you have chore money? Do you have allowance money?
Aren't V-Bucks just for
maybe they just."
Fortnite?
It is
Or-
literally for skins, emotes, Fortnite only.
Yeah, that's
those
what I
types
thought.
of things.
Okay, I was making sure
Um,
I'm not crazy.
This is Love Thy Neighbor,
Because we
by
were
the way, a
talking
teacher.
Pokemon, but then V-Bucks, so that's why I want to make sure I'm not crazy. I'm
Right.
not the most on tap guy.
That's fair. That's fair.
I don't, have
Don't
my
want you
pulse
on
in
video games.
society.
Anyway, the kid just came to the conclusion that it's just not fair, but at least someone listened to him so he could come back to class. He even used this quality time to go apologize to the other teacher who he was making cry last week and say, "Hey, I'm sorry I was so mean to you." So it was a very positive interaction. And then I got to give you the follow-up. Today he comes in and says that he went to a grocery store with his family and he took his money and he said he was going to go buy something and he got the V-Bucks card and he got in line at the grocery store and he
Listen to this.
just said, "Oh, oops, I don't have enough money." He knew that the person behind him in line would pay for it, and they did. And I go,
Genius
"Wait,
kid.
so what did the person say?"
I mean, dude, I probably would.
Yeah, let's be
Without
honest,
a- without
as
a
kids,
doubt.
we all did. We all got whether or not we meant to. This kid clearly meant that, but as a kid, that happened. Like some nice person
Yeah.
would do that for
And
you.
so now the problem is these Gen Zers, they're
they
a
know
lot
it.
more calculated and meticulous than you give them credit for.
"Oh, they just paid for the whole thing. They didn't even have me pay my part." And I was like, "Well, what did your dad say when you got it after he said you couldn't have it?" "Oh, he doesn't know. I just didn't tell him." And then this girl who really struggles said, "Oh, that's just like that meme. I really want a bag of chips." And I was like, "Oh, it all makes so much sense." They know the United States of America. They know what works. Capitalism works. Consumerism works. Guilt trips, pathos, emotional appeals work. Why would they sit here and critically think and do math and do math and do problems when they could just be cute in line at a grocery store and get a free card? I really wish I had a bag of chips, in real life.
So, we're not in classrooms. We don't know the meme. Want a bag of chips. It's alluding to and then that hints to give me a bag of chips and they give you a bag of chips. Same deal. Use my the empathy, pathos, and manipulate people. It's sad that, we've created this socially, they're not devoid, but it's defunct. It's dented. They're socially dented for being locked alone at some of the most prime development years of their youth, alone in a house, trying to sit down and take school through a remote laptop, can't touch people 6 feet away. I mean,
It's almost like they learned how society worked.
bingo. Right, you made them
They
callous.
may not have had the best education, but they learned about society. That's
yeah,
for
they had a
sure.
social education that, you can't fault them for mastering how to play it. That all being said, Doug, that was a good segue to the larger problem here, which is something I have been sounding an alarm for years. Grand Theft Auto 6 is the first implementation of the metaverse. We are going to live in a digital world, brought to you by programs like Grand Theft Auto, where people will be living an entire existence in a digital world. People will work jobs, they will hold roles, and they will take those roles more serious than they did in this organic reality. Yes, Doug.
Alex, please tell me you remember the who's the actor from Die Hard? God, the main dude. Why can I not think of his freaking name?
Bruce Willis.
Yes. Surrogate, I believe, was the name of the movie, where like people have their own robotic bodies that they just never leave their house, and they use this body so that they never get injured, hurt, and they have youthful bodies. So you could be an 80-year-old person controlling a 20-year-old body. That just what you said there immediately made me think of that. The Surrogate movie. You don't remember that movie?
No, I haven't seen it. I have to check it out.
Oh my God.
I gotta say, Bruce Willis was at a time where entertainment was hinting to you the truth. There's a lot of Bruce Willis movies that kind of foreshadowed the existence we're in now. So that doesn't surprise me at all. And I'm definitely going to keep note of that and check it out. But Doug, we're 50 minutes into this thing and we got to keep on pace. You were yelling at me that you want to play this game. You know, shout out to Brad Richardson he's on your back. Good movie.
Hey, thank you, man.
Much as Brad Richardson, as much as I'd like to do a little side branch and talk about all the ESPN stuff, we got to keep on track because
that's for our football show in the fall.
No, not even that. There was a lot of firings this week and a lot of juicy entertainment. Regardless of it all, we still got so much on. We're not even at number 10 of we're not even a third through. Anyway. So like I said, we're getting into this metaverse, dude. People are plugging in to live in a digital existence, and they'll take it more serious than they did organic reality. Here is James is Not Nice on TikTok discussing, something that I think we were too old for, Doug, to truly get into was the VR world, right? Meta goggles and all that. I played with them here and there.
I was going to say, you have your Meta glasses.
Meta glasses. I'm saying the goggles, VR world.
No, that stuff seems dumb.
Totally different. But if you've played it, I've used someone else's once or twice. Very entertaining. Something I couldn't do all the time, and it was never really worth the initial expense. But it's a unique experience, and I can see why people are in it. But the people that are in that world, dude, they are deeply in that world. So
much so they break their $1,000 TV.
Sure. Those things happen. For the people that take it serious, dude, they've got a whole setup. Probably one of those running mats where you put a bar around. Yeah, some of them are using controllers. They're just seated on their couch with a goggle on, but they're walking and moving with controllers in their hands. Again, here is James is Not Nice. This is kind of the younger generation. We're looking at Gen Zers. Anyway, talking about going into this metaverse, and dude, it's important to listen to the experiences like this because I don't think we get exposed to these types of things enough. And we got to be reminded that these worlds exist and they're going on daily. Other people are living this, and this is just another day.
Really have no idea what other people are doing in their own homes, dude. There is a whole nother world out there. Me and my homie last night, we got bored. Okay, it was like 2 o'clock in the morning. We both downloaded VR chat for some reason. We hadn't played it since like high school. We used to join in high school and just troll people, right? But we joined the game and we start talking to this dude and asking him about like other servers that we should join that have a lot of people in them. He goes, well, you could go to the club. I said, what do you mean, like the club? The club? He goes, yeah, like the strip club, bro. There's a strip club. I was like, no way. He goes, yeah, they got like the dancers are people with like full body tracking VR sets. I said, are you kidding me? What's the server called? He gave me the server. We try to get in. It doesn't spawn you in. You don't just spawn into the club. No, you spawn outside the club and there's a line to get in. There is a line in a VR strip club world to get in the club. We get to the front of the line. There is a bouncer, a legit dude in a VR headset telling you if you could get in or not. And the bouncer denied me and my homie. And when you get denied, they don't just say no and then you just leave the server. No, they click a button or some shit and you get locked in a box. So every time you join that server, you're just in this empty cube. So we join a different server. Go. Bouncer locks me in a box. Bro, we got booted 5 times, bro. What type of club are we running here? Like, there's people out there pretending to be bouncers in a VR world for hours on end on a Sunday night, bro. There's people out there with full body tracking VR suits dancing on a pole for free. This is a real thing. This is mind-blowing.
It's probably not for free. I guarantee you they're making something from someone.
But how sad is that? I don't have too much integrity to do that in a real strip club, but I'm going to make cash wearing, like he said, a VR suit and dancing for strangers digitally. I could make my avatar Donald Duck, and Donald Duck is doing the dirty. What? Dude, Brian Redband from Kill Tony, his VR character is Wendy's, like the girl with the red hair, Wendy, but with giant boulders. And it's like, you're telling me you could be Wendy from the Baconator box and giving me a lap dance? People are paying for it. And somebody's dancing in their living room. Dude, we've got people living in existence as a bouncer in real life. Nope, digital world bouncer. This makes a little bit of sense, the audience, but consumers, but still. There's a line of people waiting to get in. We inside the club. You can't even get in.
That's like if a local strip club did a live stream. Maybe some people do it, but like VR, I mean, like, that's not even real. Like, that's not real.
Well, and again, then and on top of it all, you've got real life dancers. I agree with you, Doug. Right now, it's almost like you're watching Korn. There's no difference. It's just more immersive. Like you're doing it at the Sphere in Las Vegas. But at the same time, this is the first iteration of it. Wait until you can put on a full-on bodysuit and you can feel.
And you can control a robotic body and
not
feel
even that.
everything.
You feel her.
This is a surrogate.
Or hey, you just take a pill with the little robots, like Tony Robbins was telling us, and it just cues you in, and you feel her touch your arms, caress your cheek, and
you
everything
should watch
else.
Surrogate with Bruce Willis, Alex.
I'm gonna.
Yeah, you have to.
You
now.
and Brad Richardson out here saying it's a good movie.
Yeah, you have to.
So I'll have to check it out. But we're here, dude. We're here with fighting robots, Rock'em Sock'em existence. We're here. It's Ready Player One. Everybody's itching to plug in and unplug from reality. But it's important to keep in mind what's at stake. There's a whole new development in this world that I think none of us are ready for. And it takes just independent TikTok thinkers like myself. I want to give flowers to it's Kayla Jaden. If you check her out on TikTok, I gotta say she has a philosophy degree. You know, I have an appreciation for her content. I have a bias. However, I would say is like a modern philosopher. She's come up with the concept of for future AI propaganda, and I think she's onto something.
I believe that AI is creating a new subtype of propaganda that we need to be worrying about. I've named it, and I'm going to give you a little bit of information that I feel like is relevant. I've named it saturation propaganda, because when we think about like traditional propaganda, we usually think about like somebody trying to convince you to believe something specific, like vote for this politician, support this war, hate this group. Traditional propaganda has a clear narrative it wants you to accept, but with saturation propaganda, it works differently. The goal is not to convince you that one thing is true. The goal is to oversaturate or like overflood the information environment with so much conflicting, fake, manipulated, AI generated content that we as a society stop believing in truth altogether. Every video is fake, every source is biased, every image is AI, every statistic is manipulated, every article is propaganda, every person in the comment section is a bot. eventually people will become so overwhelmed that they will stop trying to figure out what is real. That is the propaganda. And obviously the issue with this is that when you have a population that no longer believes that truth exists, they are significantly easier to manipulate. And we're seeing this already, right? One of the outcomes I think saturation propaganda could create is the rise of authoritarianism and the death of evidence culture. With AI, we're creating a society where people are going to be psychologically conditioned to distrust everything. Every institution is corrupt, every journalist is lying, every tragedy is staged, every protest is fake, every statistic is manipulated, every piece of evidence is propaganda. The belief that truth itself is just absolutely unreachable, because once people stop believing that objective truth exists, authoritarian politics become way easier to normalize, because historically, confusion and instability can create environments where people become more willing to hand power over to strong authority figures who promise certainty or change. Not because people suddenly want a dictator, but because certainty feels psychologically comforting in chaotic information environments. And I think we're already seeing parts of this happening politically right now. We see criticism against the Trump administration is immediately called fake news, propaganda, AI generated, biased, out of context, or part of some like coordinated attack. But at the same time, both Republicans and Democrats are consuming massive amounts of misinformation from algorithms that prioritize outrage over accuracy. So eventually people are going to stop evaluating evidence entirely. They just are deciding which side they emotionally trust more. And that's dangerous, because once evidence culture dies, accountability is going to die with it. Videos will no longer matter because they can be dismissed as edited. Audio recordings will no longer matter because they could be AI. Documents no longer matter because everything can be made on your computers. Journalism is no longer going to matter because every outlet is automatically going to be assumed corrupt by somebody. We are moving towards a society where evidence itself is losing social power. And when people no longer believe evidence can prove anything, power stops being about facts and starts being about who controls the loudest narrative. And we're already living in the early stages of this.
Oh.
So now it's like, what do we do, right? Like, that
Yeah.
sounds fucking terrible. How do we fix it? So there's a few different things I'm going to touch on for fixing this issue. Media literacy and AI detection. People need to understand how misinformation is spreading, how algorithms manipulate engagement, how your emotional reactions are overriding your critical thinking, how to verify sources before we immediately share content. We need to normalize slowing down before reacting, because right now the internet rewards speed, outrage, emotional impulsiveness. People will see something shocking or sad or crazy and repost it within 30 seconds without ever even checking if it was real. But in an AI saturated information environment, waiting before reacting is going to become a form of protection for ourselves. Verify before you amplify. Another big issue, corporate media consolidation. I think something close to like 80%
Do
of
something
American
about the
media is
train.
controlled by just like 4 corporations. No,
I know,
you cannot
right?
trust CNN.
Oh my
No, you
God.
cannot trust Fox News. Those are the people you should be most skeptical of. A small number of corporations having enormous influence over public information should concern everybody, regardless of your political affiliation. But my point being, do not trust
Jeez.
big news outlets. People need to start valuing local journalism, trusted
Why do I feel like the train is the CIA?
communities, direct relationships, independent investigative reporting, firsthand
Yes,
experiences more heavily.
Subliminal message
Another
through the horns.
Exactly.
Possible solution.
Trigger.
AI watermarking and verification systems for like synthetic media. Now, obviously, that's way more complicated than it sounds, because
Yeah.
people can remove watermarks, manipulate files, bypass systems. Technology evolves constantly. I'm not pretending I personally have the technical solution for that. I'm not that smart. But I do think future verification systems are going to become incredibly important. I also think that we need transparency laws around AI generated content. If something is AI generated, whether it is political advertisements, bots, videos, images, deep fakes, synthetic propaganda systems, there should be disclosure requirements.
What were you going to say, Doug?
No, like she's talking about verifying AI stuff. Like my aunt is a professor at a college in North Carolina. I don't want to say which one. But she is she was just telling us how, you know, like back when we were in school, you and I, Alex, were in school, we had programs to make sure we didn't plagiarize. And that was because like some people would quote almost directly something from a quotable source, but not quoted correctly. You know what I mean? Like you could plagiarize. But she was telling us that like these major colleges, which I thought they would have already had a tool, but like they have no way of actually knowing AI has written something. No way. Like, you know, it's not like they have a tool that can go and say, yeah, this is AI, because AI is based on the prompt giving you a slightly different wording. And so there's no true plagiarism that it can flag. With
Let me tell you this. When you talk about like the court, right, as far as weighing evidence and a judge's evaluation, I can tell you through personal experience, the head judge of the court that I'm at is going to heavily rely on metadata. That is her crux of reliance. She leans and depends on that. That is her true blue. And I'm going to tell you a little side story. Haven't told it in years. So, you know, if you remember, man, you've been here a long time. Most of you haven't heard this. Back when I started working at the court, it's the pandemic. I'm fresh out of law school. I'm a young mind that just really loved.
That feels
being
so
able to,
long ago now.
Dude, 6 years ago and almost 7. To be able to be kind of, you know, really intrigued by the legal theory and share an office with a very highly sophisticated judge in the state of Ohio, be able to walk into her office and just pick her brain. And one of the highlight inquiries that I'll always carry with me was, this was before AI was mainstream. It really didn't exist. It was a concept that was right around the corner, right? So in 2020, 2021, I'm going in her office prepared for a concept that doesn't exist, but is very close, is conceptually being discussed in all of the, you know, academic podcasts I'm listening to. And it's here, it's around the corner. And I go to a judge and I go, okay, judge, I just left law school, and law school taught me that the highest valued piece of evidence in a courtroom beyond human testimony is video evidence, and arguably can be better than video evidence, more compelling than than witness testimony is video evidence. So I look at her and I go, I'm curious, what do we do in a world where we're flooded with so much AI, and AI is so believable that we can't distinguish reality from fictionalized artificial reality, and without missing a beat? And again, this is an old head that's been in this field forever, true blue, reliable resources that she's used forever. That's what she knows of. So that's what she's going to lean on. And the only thing she had for us was, I'm going to be heavily reliant on the fact that we can trust the FBI scanners to run the metadata and we'll just know. And it's like, okay, but what if this technology gets so sophisticated that that can be manipulated, that can be changed, that can be altered, the reading becomes impossible? That won't happen. So in the world of legal theory, we can't even live in the world of what happens when, because the most sophisticated minds in that world can't even conceptualize its don't even want to entertain that theoretical reality, because I don't believe I'll ever have to live in it. Ergo, we're going to march right into it with no forethought and no pre-planning, because the powers that be really didn't think it'd be a problem. They'll figure it out. And I remember her looking at me going, there will be some FBI software that will run it and tell me. That's what, in my courtroom, the FBI will run it. They'll tell me. And I'm sitting there during a pandemic.
The same FBI that stole their original software.
Bingo. Nailed it. So I'm sitting there going, in a pandemic where the government is literally lying to us daily. There's a daily press conference lying to your face. And I'm like, wait, I'm supposed to trust their tool to be the arbiter of truth and tell me like Caesar, yes or no. That's the existence I'm stuck with.
The documentary on that program that they stole, that Justice Department stole, was just phenomenal. It's on Netflix. It was phenomenal.
That being said, they want you to just trust the powers that be. Big Brother's got your interests. What do you mean you've got questions? Anyway, let's get back to it's Kayla Jaden with just kind of the conclusion of this AI-generated content, the AI propaganda.
And when I say synthetic propaganda systems, I mean like large-scale automated systems that are designed to manipulate public opinion using AI-generated media, fake engagement, emotional outrage campaigns, bots pretending to be people, mass-produced misinformation, okay? I also think there should be restrictions specifically around political deepfakes, AI impersonation, mass bot campaigns, because those technologies can absolutely destabilize public trust if it's left completely unchecked. We need to encourage long-form thinking again. We are becoming a society that's addicted to instant reactions, rage bait, short clips, outrage cycles, content consumption. And honestly, if you've made it this far in the video, you are actually practicing a form of long thinking, because all of my videos are intentionally designed to make people pause, question things, think critically, and sit with uncomfortable ideas instead of just consuming outrage for 30 seconds and scrolling away. I do not want people to blindly agree with me. I want people to think deeply, because I genuinely believe that one of the only ways we are going to survive an era of what I have now named saturation propaganda is by rebuilding our critical thinking, rebuilding our patience, being skeptical without being paranoid, and the ability to engage with information thoughtfully instead of emotionally.
Take her advice. Encourage long-form thinking. Listen, guys, I know it's hard to just hang on to the train this whole path. But on the flip side, it's a necessary exercise. And I'm trying my darndest to keep it fun. But the reality is these are the exercises you need. You got to go to the gym. You got to lift some kettlebells. At the same time, you keep letting this thing deteriorate and you're going to lose it. Use it or lose it. Perfect transition point. AI propaganda, how to keep your mind sharp, prepare for it, and defend against it. Crazy concept coming out of this week that I just want to kind of draw upon. Thomas Massie was vindicated this week, breaking older voters in Kentucky's 4th Congressional District admit to being tricked by AI-generated ads falsely depicting Thomas Massie in a throuple with AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Dang it, I'm always so smooth with that. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
Alexandria.
It's Ocasio-Cortez. I've been saying that for 10 years. I'm going to keep it going. That's what's screwing me up. I never say Alexandria. It's just Thomas Massie in a throuple with Ocasio-Cortez
it's just
and
AOC.
Ilhan Omar, the lady married to her brother, with ads influencing their vote per exit poll. Dude, these were the ads. How crazy is that? Thomas Massie voted against, I don't even know what dude. And some old guys like
against her.
Yeah, dude, you gotta love some boomers like, he's out here sleeping with the and this works. Our greatest allies spend $30 million on this, and Boomer Brain reports it worked. Hey, welcome to the future.
I remember being old.
That's why you got to listen to It's Kayla Jaden and keep your mind sharp against these AI photos. But that's a good transition.
Let me just say, it's all these companies having to update their IT and their stuff. It's because these old people are just so dumb.
It's amazing.
Oh, an email. You need to click on this link to be a part of this project. Really? Do I? Because I don't know what the F this is. You know, it's just common sense thinking, and these people don't do it.
Hey, I don't know why. Brad Richardson wants the other camera angles. Give it to him. Will, how you doing over there?
How you doing, Will?
How about give us both? Missy, come here.
A whole lot of no one there. Except the star.
The star! The star of the show. There, you happy? You got all the angles and a wiener. A big black one. A big black and brown wiener. LOL. LOL.
A big wiener.
Let's keep this
Alex,
messed
you
up
crazy.
train moving.
You crazy.
Thomas Massey. You know, good transition.
Where's your debt clock?
Yeah, you're right. I don't have the debt badge on today. However,
how will we know where it's at if you don't wear that? How will we know?
Fair. I don't really want to transition yet into the other news with Thomas Massey. Somebody that is threatened by Thomas Massey. And I'd like to get to a little fun segment we've got planned here. It's going to be a segment for the rest of the show through the beginning of August because I'm not going to get to it yet. First, let me introduce update session. This is going to be a weekly update session because doggone it, I want to know. Doug might not, but I'm desperate to know. What's the story with Mitch McConnell? There's got to be some updates.
I thought they said he was.
Well, let me get it. Let me tell you. How about that, Doug? Why don't you give me an opportunity to report it?
All right.
Here's the comings and goings. There's a lot of considerations. There's a lot of considerations we got to take on, and a major one being, let me paint a picture for you. Mitch McConnell.
Senator? How long has he been like this?
Since Tuesday, possibly March.
If he's declared dead before August 3rd, there's a special election!
Yeah!
Easy, left foot then right. He's still smiling. That's good, right?
Best smile in the business. Give him away, boss. There we go. Look at that crowd.
Love you, Senator!
See? Eat it up.
Yeah, I just wish he'd help a little.
In a town where nobody notices when you stop working, one man just stopped living.
The leader seems stiff.
He's never been more alive.
Oh, jeez.
Proof we took this today.
Oh, no.
Blink if you're alive.
Weekend at Mitch's. He's not dead. He's just in recess.
Look at that. Weekend at Mitch's.
Great material if that movie had been made all those years
Can
ago.
we just appreciate that we brought last week's episode to a full manifest? Full manifest. But in the spirit of that, a segment that needs to be a reoccurring segment until we get some damn answers or we get a special election where Thomas Massey sweeps a Senate seat. I want to bring you guys in a little bit of my childhood. Growing up, something that was, before Matt Lauer got caught with a button under his desk that would close the door in his office and lock in who was ever in there. That's a little bit creepy. Anyway, before he got kicked off of the Today Show and had this pristine reputation and was held in high American entertainment regard, there was the Today Show, there was a segment that I grew up on, and it was really fun. I'd wake up in the morning, I'd go into my mom's bedroom, my dad would be getting ready for work, and I'd sit there for like a half hour before getting ready for school.
I remember
watching the Today Show, and the segment was, Where in the World is Matt Lauer? So now a reoccurring segment you can get excited for that'll be here each week here on the Rethink Tank. Doggone it, where in the world is Mitch McConnell?
Around the world to a secret destination. Where in the world is
Mitch McConnell?
Doop-de-doo up, doop-de-doo up, skip the doo up. Where in the hell is Mitch McConnell? So that's going to be a question we're going to be trying to solve like a Scooby mystery each week. That being said, let me get us to the senior staffer of the daggone guy's administration. Mitch McConnell's senior staffer. Sir, where in the world is Mitch McConnell?
Hey, ask you what you think about people saying that McConnell should put out a video?
He probably should. Go run for the hills. Maybe somebody.
Very political right there. Run away from the press.
Sounds about right. That being said, somebody's got to have answers for us. TMZ had something for us this week. He's got some new things going on at his house. I'm sure it's because he's coming home. New carpet? Life goes on and on and on and on and on and
Usually
what
that only
happened?
happens when there's some sort of stain.
What are you implying, Doug?
Well, there's a thing called a death stain. Trust me, I looked at a few houses before I bought mine. I saw some gnarly stains.
Were they shaped like Mitch McConnell?
They
Mitch
may have been
McConnell.
for all I know, but all I know is usually there's some sort of stain you can't get out, and dust stain, I mean, people evacuate themselves.
Well, hey, Doug, nothing to see here. Just Mitch wanting to go from beige to malted white. You got to cut a guy a break. He's trying to rejuvenate. I want to come home to a new pad.
It's a bold move to go to white.
I just want this decrepit turtle to open the door on August 2nd. If we're worried about August 3rd, August 2nd, he opens the door and he's just like, MTV Cribs, welcome to my crib. We got new
Oh my
red
God, the
carpet.
groundhog came out of his hole. What?
And he literally looks like a groundhog. Anyway,
Or
if
of
I
a turtle, but turtles don't come out of their holes.
bingo.
They lay eggs in them.
So if I want to get real answers, you got to go to independent journalism. Someone that has been groundbreaking this whole series of Mitch McConnell craziness has been Desiree Townsend with today's update. Most recent
Desiree
update.
Townsend here again at George Washington University Hospital in Washington, D.C. for day 38 of the medical miracle that is Mitch McConnell. As you may remember, he's been here since June 14th for what his office officially stated was a fall with no broken bones, no concussion, no stroke, no heart attack, and presumably a fall from the seated position in his wheelchair because he no longer really walks and is just wheeled around Capitol Hill. Oh, and also this mild pneumonia, which I guess that's why he needs 38 days of inpatient rehabilitation. So many of you have asked me, why is mainstream media not covering this story really as broadly as they were earlier? What you have to understand is mainstream media is a lot like Taco Bell. The major networks are basically fast food chains that serve the same menu or the same story because that's what they believe will appeal to the broadest audience, or simply because that's just what they choose to cover. So all of the networks at Capitol Hill are essentially chasing the same sound bites for the exact same stories to disseminate to you. It's incredibly frustrating.
Also, they're owned by the same person who's writing the script for all of them. But that's a whole nother thing.
Frustrating to actually watch. So I came to be after the government shutdown last year when my followers came to me asking for detailed coverage of their appropriation bills. TMZ largely came here for the same reasons. This started during the spring break recess for TMZ, during another government shutdown. So when you're looking at where can you get more coverage for these out-of-box stories, there's really only 3 people and organizations at Capitol Hill doing this. Me, TMZ, and independent journalist who occasionally works for Fox Digital.
Well, cheers to you, Desiree Townsend, for pointing out that still we're on almost 40 days of nothingness from a paid representative senator who just can't seem to get there. Now, I want to get to, really ground this. It's worse than Desiree kind of leads it to be. So as far as where in the world is Mitch McConnell? The last perspective I want to bring into this or update is Epstein McCrisis, where he really sounds the alarm at the intensity of the situation.
Is Mitch McConnell? Find out in the latest installment of my new hit series, Is Mitch McConnell Alive Now? Turtle Watch, day 34.
I like Turtle Watch. That ain't as good as Where in the World is Mitch McConnell?
McConnell's people just released another photo of him from the hospital. but it has issues. The angle of the lighting coming off this guy's glasses, it's wrong. You
Mm.
can see things through the rim of his glasses that
All right,
actually
that's a
aren't
little
in the
goofy.
background. You got room 411 and room 412 inside the same room. Also, when the hell did they start putting the room numbers inside the rooms? Oh, and this is a great touch. A clipboard that's supposed to be like a chart for a patient. Since when are we keeping manual medical records in the digital age? Also, he's wearing the same goddamn shirt he was in the other proof of life video. He appears to be 10 years younger and has reversed the effects of multiple strokes, recovering very effective use of his upper and lower
This is a huge piece.
lower lips. As a physical therapist, I can tell you, anybody who can stand upright independently with no walker and not hanging on to someone, why would they still be in the hospital doing rehab? The game is afoot, ladies and gentlemen. So this photo is another fake. Folks, this makes 2 photos that they have tried to release to the public as proof of life, and they are clearly both fake. So I stand by what I've said. He's either already gone or he's on life support. And being on life support this long, that's not even sustainable. All of this information is helpful when trying to answer the question, is Mitch McConnell alive now? Thank you for your attention to this matter.
So why is this such a big deal? Because, again, we cannot afford a special election where Congressperson Thomas Massey takes the W
Would
and
definitely
sweeps in a
win.
special election. He would
Definitely
sweep it. There's not enough AOC threesome AI videos that could change that voting outcome. So there's a lot at stake here because Big Dog's a threat. What makes him such a threat? Another update coming from this week is the NDAA voting that's going through this week that merges the United States military with the Israeli military. Unfortunately, coming out of today, the rule passed just now and no debate or vote was allowed on Section 219. You know, I saw enough tweets and everything to encourage me to call Congress. I literally called Congress and definition asshole. Yeah, Doug, you're going to want to take that from her. That's why I took the one from her earlier because she's going to be crazy
She
loud.
loved it.
The problem, so I called my congressperson to raise my contentions, and the dude literally was like, I literally read the prompt. I'm calling because I want to make sure that Section 219 gets a full debate and is, whatever. The dude goes, all right, bye. All right, bye. All right, thanks, bye. He did say thanks. All right, thanks, bye. Click. Like, what the? So it has no effect. Literally, they're answering the calls because they have to, not because it has any impact.
No,
But anyway,
they answer because they think it makes it seem like they
do
care.
exactly. Exactly. Do the charade, act the other way. So the rule just passed right now. No debate or vote was allowed on Section 219, which was the integration of U.S. military technology and supply chains with Israel's. The NDAA will receive a record vote tomorrow with Section 219 in it. I'll vote no. Can I say an unfortunate highlight of my day was getting a like from Thomas Massey? Yeah, the Rethink Tank got a like.
Heck yeah.
And it was retweeting that saying, goodbye, America. That's sad. That's the tweet. That's the tweet. That's the world we're living in. Doom and gloom. Anyway, you got somebody like Rand Paul who will say, what am I trying to do here in the government? Is it, should I solve the puzzle, end the Fed? I'd like to solve the puzzle, integrate the U.S. and Israel military. This dude literally was amongst the 40-some Republicans, 44. No, there was 39 or 40 that voted in favor of this integration. I want you to take a look. Where is it? Rand Paul. Paul. There is number 13. He voted in favor of this bad boy. So know who the real shills are. While Thomas Massey, and I'm super excited to put out there that Burchett didn't vote in favor of this either, but let's see when the big real vote comes in.
If Thomas Massey gave you like a retweet, does that mean we can get Thomas Massey on the show?
Oh yeah, that's exactly what it
Hey,
means.
you
Doug.
met him. You've had interactions. Did you give him your card?
Yeah.
All right, there you go. You got you've introduced, and he's retweeted now. That seems like an in.
Look at we're in. So the real question is, and thank goodness to real large platforms that are kind of within the network, the mechanism that gets to have these interviews. Here is Breaking Points USA as they interviewed Thomas Massey, inquiring like, hey, is another election in your future? Do you see yourself running for president? What do you see coming down the pipe? And his remarks are at least notable.
What are you thinking about your future? Is politics still in your future? Senate run, presidential run? What are the sorts of things that you're, it's a podcast? What are the sorts of things you're
Please don't do
considering?
the Well, I'm not going to rule anything out. How about that? But the political terrain right now in Republican primaries is uphill for me.
Yeah.
The war in Iran, this doesn't get reported enough, is 70% popular among Republicans.
Still?
Yeah, still is. And, that's in Kentucky where you have Rand Paul and Thomas Massey. In Oklahoma where you don't have us, it's 80% popular, according to the pollster that I used. So, there's still, and then you saw the vote on Israel sending the foreign aid. Republicans say they're conservative, they don't want to send money overseas, but then they have a little asterisk and they say, except we'll give Israel as much money as they need, and we'll empty our coffers for that. So that I do have a few political positions that I think are going to be right in 4 years, 8 years. Maybe it only takes 2 years, but right now I'm against the grain of where you can win certain races. So I'm going to watch for the terrain, see if it changes. Do I eventually get the high ground or not? But in the meantime, I am just so happy to have my life back. I should send Miriam Adelson a thank you card.
As much as I would love him to run for president, I just sadly don't think he'd get the support.
No, I think he should run for
deserves.
senator. He should run for a bigger seat.
Yes.
But like he said, it depends on if the terrain changes. And, if I could pump some optimism into today's episode, I confidently do think the terrain will change. So we can be hopeful that in 2 years, an opportunity like that seems a lot more feasible and a lot more enticing. That being said, coming tomorrow is going to be the merger of the United States military with the Israeli government or military, Mossad, where we are one. Hey, make America great again.
But isn't that almost the same as us with NATO?
What does that mean?
Like, aren't they just our Middle East NATO, essentially? We've
Sure,
merged all of our stuff
but
in
NATO
NATO.
at least
we have
isn't-
nuclear weapons in NATO
Okay,
countries.
but at least NATO is a conglomerate of countries. It is this is far from that. Far
Purely
from that.
because NATO would never allow Israel to join. It would never get the votes.
Okay, that was such a non sequitur. Anyway, to give you a little idea of what you're signing up for tomorrow, what your representatives are choosing on your behalf, and you will be forced to reside in. Because one of my tweets in response to this whole concept in Thomas Massey was, hey, when this whole thing doesn't work out, are we able to have an amicable divorce, or are they just going to nuke us like they promised they would? Anyway, the good guys, our greatest ally, I want to click over to the Israel minister, Bezalel Smotrich, who he gives his little spiel here in Hebrew, but I'm going to do the translation for us.
You speak Hebrew.
Yep, I do. I'm gonna speak it for you, Doug. Anyway, Israel Minister Bezalel Smotrich. Okay, let's start this bad boy over. It's too loud. I don't want to have to compete with it that much. Okay. The current... It's a hard timing this whole thing up, my reading and... Anyway, right now, the state of Israel has no interest in joining this campaign. The campaign meaning Iran, because you're to fight for them. Anyway, the current situation where this is united campaign between the United States and Iran is rightful for us. We must remember that our goal as part of this campaign, which is not necessarily associated with the United States, is to deter or intimidate until until we can get rid.
Is this not why our peace with them almost failed? Is because Israel kept attacking stuff?
Right. But you got to let me finish this. So, get rid of the police force. We cannot accept the existence. Listen, we're going to mute this guy. You can just trust me because this is.
He's fast.
Right. He's moving quicker than I can read this. Threads. Let's go back. We cannot accept the existence of an army that threatens to destroy the state of Israel by saying it out loud, but also taking steps on its way there. The best way to get the police force is economically. Simply to engage them financially. In this sense, this campaign and reestablishing President Trump's budget for Hormuz, we must remember that Iran currently has an inflation of 85%, an inflation rate above 134% in 4 months. Iranian rial right now stands at 1.9 million rials per dollar. That's a lot.
Holy crap.
Right? Yes. If we have three shekels per dollar, we will have 1.9 million reals, and it is increasing. What can be called, therefore, the current situation is good for us. And to our benefit, there's no point in pushing ourselves inwardly. Yes. The final piece being, it is great that this is a United States conflict on our behalf, and we ourselves do not have to directly engage. So, they will say it to your face that it is just good business to have Goyim die on your behalf, and all it takes is a few shekels. That's what we're voting for tomorrow. Because you are going to tie your entire military force to the integrity of your greatest ally. And Doug, what did you point out? Oh, they've bombed us before. They extradite their rapists, their murderers, they're good guys. And it's a part of their law that they never extradite anybody that, is in bad standing with your ally. Anyway, that's what we will be signing into tomorrow. Get excited. You get to die for them. And now we are one. Anywho.
I better get travel visa free.
No. Only God's chosen people get one trip to Israel for free. Are you new to the rules?
No, I didn't say for free. I said visa free. Like, meaning I should just be able to travel.
I should be an Israeli dude. You may get rid of your foreskin, but you'll always be cattle.
I mean, let's be honest, whether you're Jewish or not, most people get rid of that at this point.
Pivoting just a little bit here.
Oh, are you a full hoodie?
No.
There you go.
But I very much debate doing it for my kids. Because my parents were raised by the Jewish CIA doesn't mean my kid needs to be influenced by that. I don't see the point in it at all. It is a legitimate internal debate. It is not going to be had right now.
I learned
can you please, this is my third attempt. I'm really going to try to pivot this.
All right, pivot
so we're pivoting to another topic now, which is, what makes Massey the bad guy is that he just keeps Trump accountable. And one of the major concepts to that is, or one of the new highlights of the week is Dog Day Trump had a speech that I think none of us watched except for Fox News boomers. However, CNN thinks you're so retarded that you're not allowed to see it. And they will watch it for you and report back if anything is important. This was the first little spiel. I got nothing. There's no juice to squeeze out of the dumbass Trump's actual speech. But here is just the little beginning, acknowledging this weird little echo chamber we're experiencing. And I think it's noteworthy.
Rare move. NBC and ABC Fake News have both said that they would not cover this speech. They knew what it was about, because of the fact that they don't like the topic, because they know how corrupt our system is and they don't want to reveal it. They and others in the media are part of a plot. They want to continue this fraud for whatever reason. They want to keep it going. They want to protect the radical left. They can't have a great country, and that's true. You can't have a great country without free and fair elections. Fraud like this should mean a revocation of their licenses. They use our public multi-billion-dollar in value airways for absolutely no money. They pay nothing. All we want is honesty in our elections and honesty in reporting. They pay nothing for multi-billion-dollar assets.
Crazy. Because watching it play, you get his rhetoric, you get all of the Trump BS, but watching it play out in reality is creepy. Cue CNN.
Reminder to our viewers, we'll be watching tonight's presidential address and listening to what the president says tonight. But we're not going to take it live, as we've been discussing. That's because this president, sadly, has a history of misleading and in some cases simply false statements on what we've been talking about tonight, election security and integrity. Also, the White House earlier today said he would be showing newly classified documents. So we want to make sure that we have time to review those documents, talk to experts about them, contextualize whatever he says or shows before airing it. But if there is news, we will bring it to you
I don't hate that statement
ASAP.
of double checking. I won't lie. I don't hate that statement.
I do. Doug, are you that incapable? You're not able to feed yourself?
Hey, if one news agency wants to take longer, I'm not against them doing
That's not what they're doing. They're never going to show it to you. Let me watch it, and then I'll interpret it for you, and I'll come back with the story.
And that's
this
why
is
we
Plato's
have, like,
cave,
5
allegory of the cave.
But that's why we have 5 major news. Like, one of them will. 4 of the 5, if one of the 5 wants to not do it live, then we switch over to one of the other ones, and that's their loss for advertising money.
That works right now. That works right now. When out of the 5, 3 show it, 2 don't. But a through line that has come up multiple times in today's show is that the same entities own all these. So if they ever decide to unify the Big Brother mouthpiece, you're at their mercy.
Well, then you need to remember that the airwaves are controlled by the government. Like, the FCC gives them permission to have these channels be on the air over the understanding that they do news, that they be able to cut in to address the nation. If they don't, they risk losing their license to be on the airwaves.
And again, to further your point, Trump in his little tirade complaining about it, he was on one of the Fox shows saying how, they should be thankful. This is $1 billion license we give them, valued up well beyond that, hundreds of billions of dollars. Our airways, there's only limited channels.
With the understanding that they give us the news we need to know. That's what the government gave them. That was the understanding when they got the rights to their.
So again, there's a legitimate argument here, and yet on this, you're a fence sitter because you also just said how much you love it.
I mean, do I trust that news station? No. I mean, it's not even one of the main. It's okay. That was CNN, was it not?
But
that's
you defended
premium
its strategy.
Cable.
You defended its strategy.
Cable. It's ABC,
Doug,
NBC,
you defended
Fox.
its
Those
strategy.
are the ones that are required.
You defended its strategy.
Yeah, because it's CNN.
On balance
They're
with
not
arguing
basic cable. It's the main ones. It's ABC.
No,
NBC,
this is a loser
CBS.
point. You're on a loser ship.
Those
You're
are
sinking.
the ones.
You can't sit here and argue the
CNN
government thing,
isn't
and you have a
basic
right to be
cable.
honest.
CNN
and then defend.
isn't basic cable, though. It
You are
isn't basic
exhaustive.
cable. That's why I don't think it's that big of an issue. It's not basic
Doug,
cable.
I don't talk over you. That's just, you make it impossible to have a legitimate human discourse with you. So I'm just going to proceed. Changing subjects entirely. Wasted subject because Doug's a wasted dialogue. James O'Keefe was testifying on a Exposing Fraud in America committee. And while I'll sit here and critique this shitty administration and the Republicans that promulgate it till I'm blue in the face, it's important to remember that the other side of this coin is far from better, always worse. In a world where we are doing a hearing on exposing fraud in America through a committee, here's James O'Keefe, probably through meta glasses. You can see it through his eyes. No Democrat shows up.
It's very, very sad to see.
That's a little bit of a problem when you could look at a room only full of Republicans because half the other room just simply doesn't care about the fraud. That being said, here is James O'Keefe's testimony, which I think had a lot of meat.
Next witness is James O'Keefe. He's an American investigative journalist and media entrepreneur. He's the founder of Project Veritas and currently serves as the founder and CEO of O'Keefe Media Group. Mr. O'Keefe.
Chairman Paul, Ranking Member Peters, and members of this committee, thank you for the opportunity to testify. In February of 2026, I disguised myself as a homeless person and approached a petition circulator on Skid Row near San Pedro and South 6th Street in downtown LA. I saw cash clipped to his shirt, which I thought was odd. The petition circulator told me, "We're going to need 14 signatures and we're going to pay you $2. One of our reporters, disguised as a heroin addict with track marks on his arm, asked the homeless, "What's going on here?" They all replied with one word: money. We recorded a woman named Brown handing over cash as payment in exchange for a homeless person to register to vote in a federal election. Now that is a federal crime. Congress expressly criminalizes payments to people to register to vote. Why? Because the vote is sacred. It's an act of conscience, of judgment. And when it becomes contaminated by incentives, when it is for sale, it undermines the sanctity and fairness of the process designed to elect those who represent us. Our investigation contributed to a federal criminal prosecution with U.S. Attorney Bill Asalia saying, "Once I saw these videos, I went to work." Brown described the whole thing as a, quote, pyramid game. And then came the irony. In a neighborhood of NGOs in Los Angeles designed to protect the vulnerable homeless population, the person being confronted by the NGOs was not the fraudster, it was the reporter exposing the fraud. Just minutes after we exposed these felonies, I was approached by a man who identified himself as being with the LAPD, and he began to record me. When I pressed him, he admitted he was actually with the LA Homelessness Authority. Under California law, that's a crime. So this was also a form of fraud, albeit covering up for the fraud happening across the street. But it got worse.
All right. I don't want to exhaust all of James O'Keefe's testimony, but it's fraud on fraud. He keeps finding the same bandits with their hands in the cookie jar. We're expected to just ignore the blue team as they continue to do as they do. Is this Diddy? Diddy gon' Diddy. That being said, I think James O'Keefe's closing statement in his testimony is probably his strongest piece. So I want to leave it to here where if we don't take this fraud serious, the integrity and the foundation of this system will inevitably collapse.
Question before this committee is not whether the fraud exists or whether it's happening. Oftentimes in politics, y'all debate the facts. The facts are what they are. The question is why the incentives allow it to flourish. There is money in fraud, but there's no money in exposing the fraud. And when laws are ignored without consequences, fraud becomes the incentive. Fraud becomes the model of life. Tony Moore, one of the coordinators for the ballot petitions, told us if there's no consequences, it doesn't matter. And that's the point. I don't have subpoena power. Us journalists don't have the power to do anything but expose. And they campaign in this building about freedom and protecting democracy.
And yet they make them the bad guy. It's almost like there's more power in the First Amendment than the actual subpoena.
Democracy and preventing disenfranchisement and how nobody is above the law. But if those principles are not enforced, when they're violated in broad daylight, they're not principles at all. They're slogans. And without accountability, our notion of freedom is just an illusion. Thank you.
I mean, poetic, but true. If you don't do something about it, the only incentive is fraud, because then you can't compete. So you best put integrity back in the system. In this whole period of the last week, every politician has their focus. You know, we talked about Thomas Massie trying to fight this combination of our militaries. You've got folks like Rand Paul worried about the vaccine fight. And on the flip side, Trump has stayed true the last couple weeks, but more so this week more than ever. The focus is the SAVE Act, which is a big old poopy stinker to distract you. Look over here, look over here, look over here, so you don't see the real thing worth your attention over there. So I've been reading a lot today that a lot of the people on Capitol Hill don't even think it's going to pass. And they really don't care, because the major focus is the psyop of distracting Fox News boomers in being upset when it doesn't pass or being excited when it does, in a world where, like Thomas Massie keeps pointing out, why is this such a big deal when we won? And if that's the case, then we really should question the integrity of the win, should we not? And maybe all these other past elections. But it's all a distraction, so you don't focus on the main things. In a world where we're supposed to even concern ourselves with the SAVE Act, and for those that don't know, it's voting on voter integrity and preserving our elections. You know, I kind of had a heart for Trump's position back in 2020. But, you know, we didn't get to hear phone calls like this. And I got to be honest with you. How do you hear a phone call with Donald Trump recorded with Georgia Speaker of the House and this doesn't raise any eyebrows with you?
I just want to find 11,780 votes, which is one more than we have. I only need 11,000 votes. Fellas, I need 11,000 votes. Give me a break. There's nothing wrong with saying that, you know, that you've recalculated.
Well, Mr. President, the challenge that you have is the data you have is wrong.
You do it to uncover fraud. You could say for transparency and to uncover fraud, possible fraud. So who's going to stop you for that? You know, it's like
a federal judge.
Yeah.
Possibly.
Probably.
Literally the laugh as he says, "A federal judge?"
Yeah. I will never vote again. I'll be a felon. I'll go to jail for a long time.
Yeah, I'll never get to vote again.
Yeah, it's like, dude, what are you talking about? I don't know. I think I need a SAVE Act to save me from you when I hear a clip like that. I mean, that's way more absurd than I've ever had in my imagination. I don't know. Doug, does that surprise you at all, or is it pretty much on brand?
On point.
Yeah. If I'm going to balance something as disgusting as that with something that at least lightens your day a little bit, it's going to be Pete Hegseth trying to testify and not being able to get a word out because protesters keep cramping the Emperor's New Groove. I mean, can't you just let Pete have a good time?
Supplemental funding request is not a substitute.
And these jerk-offs. What do you mean no new war? I'm the secretary of... This is the Department of War. What do you think this is defense? I'm supposed to get away from war? I'm here for war, baby.
The witness will suspend until order is restored in the committee room.
She makes good empanadas.
Individuals
Chill out.
feel very passionately, but we must have order
Doesn't make her less American. Chill, dude.
in the hearing room so that we can proceed. We're now going to move forward with our hearing. Secretary
It's time to move forward. You people are too old.
Seth, please proceed.
Thank you. The supplemental funding request
She's
is
literally
not
shaking. Like, I wish I could say the camera or our monitor was shaking, but no.
Nope, she was. I am just trying to make it to lunchtime.
What's like?
Quoted Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Substitute for the president's full $1.5 trillion base budget request. $1.5 trillion.
We got another one. These freaking clowns.
Mr. Secretary, please suspend until order is restored in the hearing.
Mr. Secretary.
The timing clock.
Mr. Secretary of War, we've got another one bitching about war. Just wait a second.
You've been interrupted twice.
You've been interrupted. Put two tallies
Is she
down.
on a mechanical bull?
Mr. War Secretary.
Oh, wait, is she at Cedar Point right now? Is she phoning in?
Mr. Secretary of War, this is two people that have interrupted you. Is that the end of it?
Thank you. Please proceed.
Please proceed.
$1.5 trillion is what the president seeks and what we need to defend the country. The members of this committee understand better than most that long-term strategic dominance cannot be funded through one-off supplementals.
Ain't nobody give a yes, bruh. Wait.
We will have order
That's
in
three.
the hearing room.
That's three.
Mr. Secretary, please proceed.
Collectively, the budget proposals submitted under President Trump follow a simple logic.
Four. This is called playing golf with Doug.
I would ask that the Capitol Police,
Recently, I've been
whose
good.
professionalism I admire,
Not
remove
once
those
did I have to
who
yell
are
for
seeking
last
to disrupt the hearing.
Hey, 4 Trojan horse Patriots, I think, is a win for the week. Pete Hegseth, we were a nuisance in the Secretary of War's testimony. That's a cool thing, right? Anywho, keeping up with the political dubs, because they're few and far between, I got to go to our king, Senator Kennedy, as he questions the legitimacy of imported shrimp and oysters, which didn't know this was something we should be asking about, but dang it, we should have been asking about it.
Are oyster harvesters farmers?
Yes. In this USDA,
Are they
yes.
having to compete with other countries who grow oysters and shrimp in a ditch and shoot them full of antibiotics?
100% yes.
And if you eat too much of that foreign shrimp and oysters, you'll grow an extra ear, won't you?
I'm not sure about that, but I know it is not good. And I also know we
Why
import
aren't we
90% of our
inspecting
shrimp.
the shrimp and the oysters from abroad?
Well, it goes much larger than that. Why are we importing so much from abroad, which goes to the president's
It's really
trade
my
agenda?
thought.
In big trouble.
Like
Yes, you
shrimp,
are.
especially. Like we got shrimp, Gulf shrimp. We got shrimp, bubble gum shrimp.
Yes, you are.
Guys, look, we need straight answers now. We're down to it.
I mean, you got to give, one, a Republican, and two, the health secretary making acknowledgments of, like, this is contrary to Trump's initiative to begin with. But let's not even talk about the effect of these vaccines in the oysters and shrimp. Let's ask, and why they're not being inspected, let's ask why they're being imported to begin with. This shit should be coming from Maine, Florida, North Carolina, California coast. We've got it. That's the beauty of these 50 states, is we've got all the different terrain. We can make, we can thrive domestically, and yet for some reason, the Make America Great Again, the domestic president is hell-bent on importing everything, like killing our farmers and committing all of our meat to imported Argentinian beef. That's cool stuff. That's our president. America first. A lot of good stuff happening, so I want to keep that ball rolling. All the doom and gloom at the front of the episode, all the awesomeness at the back end. Brandon Gill Doug, I don't know if you've been paying attention all these years, but I'm not a big advocate of the Smithsonian. My conspiracy theory, the very real theory that I subscribe to, is that the Smithsonian's entire existence is to hide the real historical past and protect the historical narrative being peddled and written by the Rothschilds, right? The second we start learning about Tartaria, the second we start learning about the missing sections from the Bible, the book of Enoch, all these types of mind-altering and perception-altering academia, you know, when farmers are developing the United States through Manifest Destiny and they're finding giants' bones in their property, the Smithsonian's role is to collect those and then change the historical record. I'm not a Smithsonian fan. I think we're up against them. They are the bidders of the lying historical record. That being said, it gets super exciting when you get to watch a Brandon Gill own the representative of the Smithsonian. Nope, that's not it. That's a Somali police officer. Doug, you're playing the wrong videos.
We're getting there.
The goal of history is to be objective.
Thank you, sir, for the question. You know, I think that there are many goals of history, and certainly as you collect, as we do, examine evidence, create scholarship.
Is objectivity one of the goals of history?
We strive to be objective and nonpartisan and not based on any idea.
So it's one of the goals. Doesn't that seem a little bit concerning? It certainly does to me, because as part of this white supremacy document that your organization has promoted, objectivity is a core and defining aspect of white supremacy culture. Do you think that it's the goal of the Smithsonian Institution to promote white supremacy culture?
Sir, do you mind sharing with me which document?
It's white supremacy culture right here. This is part of the mass action toolkit that your organization has promoted for several years now under your leadership. Are you promoting a white supremacy culture at the Smithsonian?
Am I promoting a white?
Ma'am, is this a difficult question?
No, sir, I'm just thinking about the mass action toolkit. We didn't develop it, but back to your question, no, we're not promoting any ideology.
Does it concern you that your goal is objectivity? One of your goals is objectivity, and your mass action toolkit references objectivity as a defining characteristic of white supremacy culture?
It's not our toolkit.
It is your toolkit. You've been promoting it for quite some time.
We did not come up with a toolkit, sir.
But you've been promoting it.
It is used as a reference, I believe, probably in 2019, 2020.
Yes, under your leadership, it has been used as a reference. Is Mickey Mouse racist?
Mickey Mouse is not racist.
It's not racist. According to the Smithsonian Institution, one of your exhibits referenced Mickey Mouse as representing, quote, vestiges of longstanding traditions of blackface minstrelsy. Would you describe that as racist?
No, the historical trajectory of the origins of Mickey Mouse tied directly
so Mickey Mouse is rooted in racism. Is that your testimony?
No, sir, it's rooted in minstrelsy.
Minstrelsy, and you don't think the blackface minstrelsy is racist?
It had certain obvious racial overtones that have been well documented.
Do you think that that's problematic, that Mickey Mouse also has those racial overtones?
It's not for me to determine what's problematic. It's determined to me what's accurate.
Is that right?
Yes,
is it important to be polite?
Excuse me, sir?
Is it important to be polite?
Yes, sir.
Get her.
It's also interesting because the same mass action toolkit that your organization has been promoting references politeness as a defining characteristic of white supremacy culture. Ma'am, are you a white supremacist?
No, sir.
You're not. Can you help me square why your organization says that being polite is part of being a white supremacist?
Raptor's right.
I'm not exactly familiar with that passage of the Mass Action Toolkit, which is
I can show you the passage. It's right here.
I don't Pardon me?
I said I just read you the passage from it.
And then
Your
question
passage.
was, sir?
We're going to move on. What is Latina power?
Yeah.
What is Latino power?
Latina power.
Latina power would be the forces derived from being a Latina.
The forces. It is appropriate for the Smithsonian Institution to sell Latina.
The horses of the tortilla.
Power paraphernalia. Hats, mugs, other things that say Latina power.
I believe that the merchandise our store sells.
I'm asking you if it's appropriate.
Tries to reflect the richness of the communities.
So your testimony is that it is appropriate?
Those are your words, sir.
I'm asking you, is it appropriate to sell Latina power paraphernalia? It's a yes or no question.
I don't have control over what is.
You will call politeness white supremacy, but selling Latina power is just another Tuesday with the Smithsonian.
I'm asking you if it's appropriate. I didn't ask you if you have control over it. Is
I
it
understood
appropriate?
you, sir. Yeah.
Yes or no?
Again, we strive to represent all Americans and including.
Is it
in our
appropriate? Yes or
merchandise.
no?
We strive to represent all Americans in our museums, including in our merchandise.
Is that right?
So to acknowledge dumbass 2026 down here, the reality is this has nothing to do with, we just literally spent the last 2 hours trashing MAGA. There's no balance. You are you're just a totally biased watard, because the reality is this: nobody's butthurt beyond the fact that there is a logical consistency here that can cripple a melting pot. I think Raptor truly nailed it here. They make everything about race, keeping racism on life support. Morgan Freeman said it a decade ago, and he said it best. You want to end racism? Stop talking about it. I didn't appreciate 15 years ago a sociology professor emphasizing that we recreate racism every day. Until you live in a democratic echo chamber that we call a political system, and you watch us recreate this bullshit every day. Buckle up, 2026, because we're just opening this can of worms, and I got more for you. We're specifically, I can't wait to dunk on the dumbass Jasmine Crockett. Like, those are you're going to sit here with a high horse, and those are the people you're going to tie your race to. You're going to find the winning position is in the middle. And the more you convict yourself to this mentally ill position, the world's going to leave you behind. Whether you believe, I forgot. You're on the right side of history, baby. You're on the right side of history. Anyway, let me click it to a favorite here. Cheers to Nancy Mace, because if you're going to have a Smithsonian shill clown in front of you, best dunk on him.
Believe that men can become women?
Ma'am, as the director of the museum, that's not relevant in this case.
We're going to start it over. This can we just agree, as like a professional in the law field, this is funny. Like, where's your law degree? On my wall, dumbass. Unlike you, who speaks out of turn.
Believe that men can become women?
Ma'am, as the director of the museum, that's not relevant in this case.
It's very relevant. You've got men dressed up as women, and you have them on displays in front of kids. Do you think men can become women, yes or no?
So RuPaul's Drag Race, which is the upper...
It's a man. RuPaul is a man who dresses like a woman, literally.
Correct.
What is a woman, Dr. Hartig?
Oh, an answer you people can't come up with.
As a director and as a historian, it's not my opportunity.
You sexualize the American History Museum. So this is a fair question. What is a woman?
So at the museum...
What is a woman?
We strive to represent and not categorize all
Okay.
Americans.
Of the answer, what is a woman? Anyway, we were getting locked out here. Anyway, keeping the momentum of the promulgating voices here. Brandon Gill, like I said, nailed it this week, and here is him on a hearing probing the Minnesota fraud, which for some reason we should all be united in this. Fraud anywhere is a problem. You want more welfare money for your clowns and your leeches of society, the unfunctionables. This is where your money goes. It's being laundered to your Democrat pockets and Republican pockets. This is a bipartisan issue. They all suck. But you want to convict yourself to a jersey, a blue team and a red team, so you could keep the hamster wheel pedaling. So here is Brandon Gill holding accountability in a Minnesota hearing. Oh, wait, sorry. That's the Minnesota police putting priority with the Somali front. Anyway, number 26, Doug. You want to go to Brandon Gill.
Lou. Again, thank you for being here. Let me ask you, does large-scale Somali immigration make Minnesota stronger or weaker?
Certainly stronger.
Certainly stronger. Do you know what percentage of Somali-headed households in Minnesota are on food stamps?
No.
54%. Do you know what that number is for native Minnesota-headed households?
Well, to be clear, a majority of the...
It's 7%. There's a big difference between 54% and 7%, is there not?
Excuse me, sir, could I answer the question?
Let me move on. We've got a lot of questions here. What percentage of Somali-headed households in Minnesota are on Medicaid?
I don't know.
It's 73%. Do you know what that number is for Minnesota native households?
Again, you're using the phrase Minnesota native households, but the majority...
The number is 18%. That's quite an astounding difference. I think we would...
Can I answer the question, please?
Let me ask you one more, and then we can go on to that. What percentage of Somali-headed households are on welfare in general?
I don't know.
It's 81%. What about... let me just ask you, after 10 years of being in the United States, what percentage of Somali immigrant households continue to be on welfare?
I don't know.
The number is 78%. So even after 10 years, 78% of Somali immigrant households continue to be on welfare. Do you know what that number is for native Minnesota-headed households?
Again, you're using
non-Somali immigrant-headed households.
If I can just answer the question, when you're using the phrase native Minnesotans, the majority of Somali Minnesotans are as Minnesotan as any of us. They were born in the United States. It's only 8,000 of the 108,000 Somalis.
And nevertheless, the welfare usage is astoundingly different. Let me ask you again, does that make Minnesota stronger or weaker?
Again, I'd like the opportunity to answer the question here.
Go for
it. Again, the majority of Somali Minnesotans are born in the United States, as I understand it.
Okay, well, what percentage of working-age Somalians who have been in the U.S. for 10 years or more, how many of them speak English very well?
I don't know.
About half. The answer is about half. That seems pretty low, doesn't it?
Again,
not assimilation.
Which is a whole nother problem in and of itself. Let me be clear before I continue on in this any further. Looking at 2026 down here in the comments. Did criminal liar Dinesh D'Souza teach his skeezy son-in-law to lie like this? Can I tell you something, dude? This might not be the channel for you, because if you're looking for a channel that is hyper fixated on bipartisanship, this ain't it. This is only for the moderate. This is only for the middle ground. We hate you blue asses just as much as the red dumbasses. Dinesh D'Souza can pound salt just as much as Asiago Cortez. So if you're looking for an echo chamber, this ain't it. Because the reality of our situation in the Rethink Tank is they all suck. And you got to criticize them all and hold them all accountable. So if you're looking for scoring points, this ain't it. We don't wear red and blue jerseys. This is only purple discussions. So pound salt and move on. However, that being said, piggybacking off of kind of what Doug was leapfrogging, and as Brandon Gill pointed out, if we don't become one nation, we are a fragmented problem bound to disintegrate. So it doesn't matter what the unifying culture is. It needs to be one solid melting pot, or we're going to be a cold civil war until we pop. So best find a middle ground. Let's learn to have these conversations 2026, because if we don't, we're bound to tear ourselves apart. And racism, as Raptor pointed out earlier, is their best tool to do it. Hence why the whole Blue Team platform is reminding you of it every turn of the way and beating your head over it through guilt to manipulate your way into voting as they see fit. That being said, we're talking about Minnesota, and clearly the Minnesotans they're American. Oh, wait, is this the Minnesota police with Somalian accents telling you that they are Somalis first no matter what? Let me try to read it for the listeners that are listening. As Somalian police officers, we work for you, Somalians. Day and night, we stand for and serve you. As you know, we come to this country as refugees. There were no Somalian police officers. Mind you, he's wearing a sheriff's vest, bulletproof vest. So now that we have been hired, it means we are working for our own people. Let's get back to that. Somalians. We understand the culture. We understand the language. We understand the way of life. That's why we are different from foreigners or white officers. We help bridge that gap. So, thank you again. And know this, every Somalian police officer, whether you're in the homeland or abroad, works for you, Somalians. When you are asleep at night, when you are resting, we are the ones protecting you. Not even in our native tongue, not even to you. He's talking to a whole nother country in your country. The Trojan horse, we're talking to the people inside the Trojan horse. Hey, yeah? Hey, Trojan people, you can do, we got you. Have fun in there. I hope you got some really sharp pointy things, because we got you, Trojan people, because us, the police force, we are Trojan. Again, the more they keep us hyper fixated on these things, the more they're able to guide the public will and control our attention, which is the whole goal. Anyway, speaking of libtards, if we're going to harp on racism, ironically, we got a whole new chapter of racism from the queen of racist victimhood, Jasmine Crockett, as she says, cheering on the FIFA championship clearly is embedded in racism.
World Cup that captured the imaginations of the entire world when they saw all of these people of color that was playing for all these teams. And ultimately, if you recall, the last two teams, it was Argentina and Spain. And it seemed like the vast majority of the world was rooting for Argentina, or actually against Argentina, right? And why was that? Just give me an explanation if you could guess. If you'll just let him finish the answer. How can he explain that?
Spain had the best team. Maybe that's why they were rooting for them.
Yeah. There's also a racist history that exists.
Mr. Byer, you're recognized.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you for bringing us, grounding us again, Tim Burchett. Anyway, this whole thing is nonsense, but let's get to the real bread and circus. The FIFA game cleared out this week, and it had everybody's attention. Whether you were rooting for Israel's Argentina or you were an adversary against the mechanism itself and you were rooting for Spain, there was a weird, like a severely weird anomaly that came out of all of this. And I'm sure you all saw. Here is a picture of... We've got Messi, but then we also have Spain's young prodigy, Lamine Yamal, in a weird instance where, Doug, did you see this? So,
did not see that.
This picture is Messi bathing Spain's prodigy, Lamine Yamal, as a baby. Get this. The situation was the mom... But the public narrative they're selling the people to hide the fact that it is clearly a psyop for Illuminati figures. Anyway, you have these, the situation was the mom entered a contest to have her baby featured in an ad or photo shoot with Messi. And now they're playing each other in the FIFA World Cup, like the championship, the series that crowns it all. And it's almost like we watch the Mason passing of the baton, because this photo came to fruition in this game and we saw the crown change. Anyway, before we really depart the topic, got to go to friend of the show, Jack Mack. He reported the subject, and it was the first I saw of it, and I didn't realize how crazy the situation was.
The Jamal Messi photo is the craziest photo in human history. I don't know how it will ever be beaten. I don't care how many times you see it over the next however many days before the World Cup final. Obviously, Jamal and Messi are playing each other now in the World Cup final. Guys, this photo happened because there was a charity campaign with UNICEF. The neighborhood near Barcelona, where Barcelona plays, I'm in Barcelona in Spain, they asked all the families there, it's like, if you have a baby, you can enter into a raffle. And then if you win, you can bring your baby and there'll be a photo with a Barcelona player. The Barcelona player in 2007 ended up to be Messi in the photo. And who won the raffle? Jamal. This wasn't like, oh, Jamal's the son of this other soccer. No, this was random. And in 2007, Messi was pretty good, but he was not like, oh my God, the GOAT. This is it. I don't care how many times you see it, how many times it gets brought up. This should be talked about for the rest of humanity. I can't believe it's real. It is the fakest real photo of all time. I could talk about this. The chances, some mathematician has to run the chances on
Yes. Yeah, some mathematician does have to run the chances on that, but it is funny to say, Doug. It is probably the funniest, most unbelievable real photo you could find.
You would think it was AI. You seriously would think it was AI.
Well, the beauty is we do live in the 21st century, and we can use the modern tools to make an old photo like that more legitimate. Come on, make it more real. That reflects the weekend better, wouldn't you say?
Oh,
come on,
baby.
Who's the real daddy? Can the baby get his bum scrubbed?
Dude, I loved watching the game. And at the end, he walks up to Messi, and Messi's just laying there.
Yep.
Messi gets up to go over and give him a hug, and it's just like, you bathed me.
That being said, cheers to appreciating it for what it is.
Veo que creciste mucho. Entonces, ¿quieres esto?
Sí.
Until next time.
Yeah, dude. Yes. You know, it's a shame that the clown ass 2026 left, because the crowning jewel to all these dialogues and the need to peddle racism. I mean, damn, if you could see these comments, this dude's a literal psycho, or female, probably likely. Either way, total psycho. And if there's any piece of advice to bringing people to the center of modernity, you know, bringing it to the moderate position. Here is just an English thinker trying to raise a little clarity.
Nobody has the right to live their lives being protected from offense or from insult or from hurt feelings. It is an occupational hazard of living in society. And if you really can't take it, become a hermit.
She's like the strictest headmaster, you know?
At Harry Potter?
No, just remember we had the video of the strictest headmaster. It's like she said almost the same thing.
Yeah, a lot of wisdom coming out of the elderly head mistresses out of London or England. I really wanted to address JD Vance and his appearance on Joe Rogan, acknowledging Israel, acknowledging Jeffrey Epstein, acknowledging a greater conspiracy, and how, I definitely believe there's something there. I wish I was in a position to get to the bottom of it. Maybe I'm the vice president. As much as I wanted to get down that rabbit hole, we're really strapped for time. So we're going to save that. I'm going to do so. Here's where I'm at tomorrow night. So look out for an episode coming to you guys tomorrow. So here's where I'm at as we break down all the comings and goings of JD Vance's episode or appearance on Joe Rogan, especially because we reported here not even a month ago how a staffer caught Marco Rubio and JD Vance arguing about who was going to take the Joe Rogan appearance, as we were criticizing how, like, Joe, what's the point of having your own show when it ain't your choice anymore? Like, I have my show. I get to decide. I pick I reach out to people. I think you're interesting. I'd like to talk to you. Joe, that's the whole reason you did this, and you lost it. So anyway, we'll save that for tomorrow. Buckle up. But if I'm going to close out today's episode with anything, I want it to be some positivity. I think this has to be the coolest, most legendary story coming out of the week. Let's kick it off to the legend, awesome Ben Askren.
Hurt, but the thing that fails me is my legs. They give out. I couldn't up here. My legs wouldn't carry me any longer. For sure, my last time out on the mat. I love you guys. I really do. I couldn't find a better place to do this. I went through the hardest shit in the last year. It was tough. There was times I couldn't feed myself. I couldn't stand up. I couldn't go to the bathroom. And every single day I woke up and I thank God for the chance to do it just one more time. And I promise God, I'm going to make the most of this day. I'm going to treat people well. I'm going to work my ass off. And I'm going to try to make a difference in the world. I love you guys.
Ben, you've got Amy, you've got kids, you've got the community.
Can we just acknowledge what an awesome story to close the night out? When you go from something like this to persevering to one last match on the mat, whether you're getting your arm raised or you're just there in the dogfight, the fact that you can come back from something that would defeat most. I mean, Ben Askren is one of a kind, and what a cool motivational piece to close today's episode off with. Anyway, guys, most of the time we'd like to close out the episode. Doug and I were going to play a game. We've got the Wheel of Topics. We have a whole lot of things in store for you normally, but we went pretty late today. So we appreciate you guys joining us and all the folks that jumped into the comments, even 2026. For the folks that I may not agree, the whole purpose of the live show is to get you involved. We want to break out of our echo chambers and hear from you, have a little perspective from the audience. So we appreciate Raptor, and I can't go through them all, but there were a whole bunch of people. 2026, Brad Richardson, Elizabeth joined the team, Mud Butter, and everybody else. We had a lot of people in the comments, and we appreciate you doing that because, like I said, that's the whole purpose of the live show. If we made you laugh, if we made you think, the best thing you could do to support the show is hit that like button and be sure to hit the subscription and notification bell because we're here each week. We don't miss a Tuesday. And on Sundays, we've got our live show where you can wake up, have a cup of coffee with us, and get a little break from the political and social chaos and just have some laughs. We've got our Rethink Actions where it's just funny internet clips. Wake up, have a cup of coffee with us, and have some fun. But between this, the flagship podcast, where if you missed it just this past week, we had Martin Malloy, Golden Ticket winner for Gold and Platinum Rethink Tank ticket winner. We had him on the flagship podcast, but you could find all of this in one central place, and that's at our website at www.rethinktankpodcast.com. Head on over into the Neuro Gym and join for free so you can find yourself featured on the Wheel of Topics. Give us some topics, and again, I would have loved to have closed the episode out with it, but again, went a little late, so we'll have it next week. But find yourself featured there by going over to the website. Otherwise, guys, we appreciate you joining us, and we'll catch you next time. Peace.